James Haft is an investor and an expert in the blockchain industry and also the founder of Crypto Mondays, which I've been to a few times.
Yeah.
And James, good to see you again.
Thank you so
We've
much.
been friends for years. So let's just talk about the blockchain industry and how you see it right now. It's been, I feel like there's been super fast growth. We've had kind of a rough patch this year. What's your take on the industry right now?
Well, you know, it's very interesting. The blockchain is not the technology that's changing the world. What's happening is that we as humanity need a change. We need to decentralize. We need to start to have peer-to-peer relationships. Politics are not working, and the economy isn't working. You know, education system's not working, the economy's not working. All these things, we know it, and people are trying to figure out. And we know doing more of the same is not the answer. That's, you know, and so I think that what's happened is we're looking for a way to break around and break through these formats, these templates that we have where we keep pushing the same button and we don't get the result. And so the idea is, how do I start to deal with people individually? How do I stop depending on these people that I know are not dependable for me, the centralized authorities? And so blockchain and distributed ledger technology enable you to have permissionless transactions where you don't need trust, because you have truth without trusting in blockchains that offer transparent access to information. So you no longer need to get the opinion of another person.
Right. Well, and I totally agree with you, but I feel like maybe the technology isn't there yet, or maybe the education isn't there yet for this to really be mass adoption. So what needs to happen before we see this mainstream?
So, great question. You know, this focus on mass adoption is kind of like a distraction. The technology is not where it's going to be in 10 years, it's just where it is today, and that doesn't mean that it's far enough or not far enough. It just is a fact of where it is. And it's certainly robust enough to enact change for us. Scalability is an issue in terms of because all of a sudden, instead of accessing people on your block or within your community or within your country, now you're automatically instantaneously addressing the world, right? And so that degree of scalability is not just technical, it's cultural, it's linguistic, it's legal. And so there's all these different things that you need to break through to get to scalability. If you look at how blockchain is being adopted, it's being adopted much faster than the internet was adopted in the 1990s. And remember how breakneck that was. Yeah. And you also have to add that to the concept that everyone thinks that we are far along, or that blockchain has already happened. Yeah. And the truth is, we're in the bottom of the first inning. We're in the bottom of the first inning. There isn't really even a killer app yet that uses the technology. And everyone knows it's not the technology that drives the adoption, it's the killer apps. That's what we learned from iPhones. And you know, from Steve Jobs, where's the killer app?
Right, that's really what brought the apps.
The killer app was Excel and Microsoft Word for the computer, right? The killer app was e-commerce, was credit cards and getting through transactions. You know, the killer app, you know, for cell phone, for wireless communications was the cell phone network. So we need to have a killer app, which we don't really have yet.
Yeah. Do you have any idea what that killer app might be?
I think actually the one that in my mind is going to be social media. I think this idea of how our social media is controlled and abused by governments and by individuals and by states is unacceptable, and I think that we're understanding it's leading us down the wrong path. So core to the ethos in the distributed ledger world and the blockchain world is that you have to own your own identity, you have to own your own value, and you have to own your own information, you have to own your own relationships. And so until we have that level of self-sovereignty, we're not going to be able to reverse the trends that are happening. And I think that a cryptographically protected distributed ledger social media platform will come about that will start to be the first killer app.
Elon Musk will do this with Twitter. We know he's a Doge.
Get me started. No.
Okay. Well, we'll talk.
If Elon Musk is the answer, we are in so much trouble. Exactly.
Well, let's talk about DLTx.
Sure.
So that's your company. Tell me because you're really working on this kind of technology, right?
So I founded a company with some partners to basically build the infrastructure, the networks that are required to support permissionless D3 decentralized, Web3 decentralized transactions, because you need to have the actual bandwidth, computing power, storage space, and connectivity in order to, that are decentralized and permissionless in order to have these future platforms which will enable us to behave on a peer-to-peer basis. Yeah. And so we're focused at DLTx on currency, which is Bitcoin, on storage, which is Filecoin, on relay, which is how your information moves around the internet on a network called Pocket Network. And we're about to announce that we have a DY, or a decentralized wireless division, which is going to start to focus on helium and certain other similar type platforms. So the idea is that we will have a stack of networks that will grow as decentralized transactions grow over time.
And in all different kinds of industries too. So
right. Well, because we know that you're going to need we don't care which dApp wins. We don't care which one is the killer app. We just know that when these apps come along, they're going to need decentralized connectivity. They're going to need decentralized routing. They're going to need decentralized storage, right? And by decentralized, what I mean is permissionless systems where the creator of the content maintains ownership and has determination about who can see it and who can use it and who benefits from it, and how the value of that system is shared with the participants in the network.
Yeah. Now, the exciting part is you're going to be bringing some of these companies new to the street, to the show on Newsmax and Fox Business and Bloomberg, and we're going to help educate the world about blockchain and what you're doing.
So yeah, I'm lucky enough to have roots in the past with the founders of New to the Street, and we're going to have I think a series, we're not sure what the regularity is, but a series recurring over time where I'm going to bring blockchain and DLT companies to you, and that we'll sit and talk and be able to do it from an educational perspective so people can see under the hood what's happening. Because what's happening now is it's already significant, it's already happening, we just don't realize it yet. Humanity doesn't realize things are happening until after it's over.
Right.
And so I'd like to show under the hood a little bit how the sausage is made so that people can understand where the opportunities are.
No, I think that's awesome. And the more that we can tell people about it and let them know of some of these up and coming companies and educate them on the whole industry, I think it's a great idea. Looking forward to it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, James.
Okay.
Okay.